Maybe Jeff Bezos had a chip dribble. Too many decades back, he foresaw a next while a clicking would evoke whatever of pet meal to row, malls would wither in popular, and shops would include to propose amusement or comfort to pull through. Later he constructed an imperial power in how picture. Amazon, that he based in 1994, is now competing to be the planet's at first billion-buck business, possessing converted of alcove other hand volume vendor to world nest of all trades. But Mr. Bezos, now the planet's richest man, claims high urge rather than fair transformation the planet's retailer marketplace. He informally owns the Washington Position paper. His space company, Dark Blue Descent, plans to sell tickets for area journey following year. He has as well hinted he will declare charitable plans the summer. Year back, his top school friend said attached how she had ever anticipated him to do a luck, trace his driving to an previous vision of studying external area. Signs of Mr. Bezos's ambitions founded many decades back. The kid of teenager parents who rapidly dissolved, he was grown substantially in Texas and Florida by his mom Jackie, and his move father Mike Bezos, an ex-on execution who had fled Cuba as an adolescent following Fidel Castro came to force. He displayed an previous tilt for mechanical engineering and scientific, disassembling his cheat sheet in a screwdriver at the age of 3, on to a 2013 life story by Brad Rock. In a top high school gradation speaking, he set out a site for creation colonies in external area. At Princeton College, Mr. Bezos investigated mechanical engineering and machine scientific, after with his skills at finance companies in New York, wherever he met his woman Mackenzie, now a Romanist, at the Fence Foundation, D-Show. At the age of 30, he abandoned following upcoming through a statistical on the fast increase of the web. In a 2010 speaking at Princeton, Mr. Bezos withdrawn his judgment to Chief Western and begin Amazon as the less than secure way. I had to offer it a shooting. I didn't believe I'd pity hard and lack. And I suspected I would ever be persecuted by a judgment to not try at all, he told. Mr. Bezos's gambling, underfunded in more than rather than $100,000 in private and household cash, rapidly pay away. During a monthly of Amazon's 1995 start, it had already sent orders to all 50 state and 45 countries, on to Mr. Rock's volume, The All Keep, Jeff Bezos and the Age of Amazon. In Amazon's at first 5-year, client accounts jumped of 180,000 to 17 millionth. Turnover skyrocketed of $511,000 to more than rather than $. Large name investors flocked to the business among the at first wavelength of .com passion. It went social in 1997, increased $54 meter and lathe Mr. Bezos, who one day helping to box up the volume orders, in one of the planet's richest men up the age of 35. In 1999, Ammunition Depot mentioned him one of its youngest always human beings of the year, dubbed him the star of cyber commerce. Named for creature and discerning lug, Mr. Bezos has managed Amazon in which he describes as a length-term policy and heads downward attention on the client. In experience, how has intended the company is readily to expend cash to do cash, aforementioned yearly income for 10 out of 23 year as it cut prices, proposed complementary navigation and consumable year evolving new devices love its Insight e-reader. But Amazon as well hasn't hesitated to rescue wherever it could, manufacturing staff employees pay for parking lot, struggling in suppliers, opposed efforts to organize labor unions at its warehouses, and avoiding taxes as lot as probable. The company skilled several failures, love previous investment in sites love how after lose cash. But present though such see love a mark of its ruthless competition ghost and readiness to experimental. Amazon informed almost $53 billion in turnover in the 3 months ended in June, in recording quarter income of $. The company is anticipated to expense for approximately part of all on the internet trading turnover in the U.S. the year, and almost 5% of the nation's common retailer marketplace, on to study company eMarketer. It employs more than rather than 575,000 human beings, a strength almost the amount of Luxembourg's people. It provides logistic, store, loans and a marketing plate to hundreds of thousands of tertiary party merchants, and its advantageous Puff computational department, that hosts enormous swathes of the enterprise planet on its information servers, is the production's world lead. Nor is Amazon's thirsty for new ventures saturated. Recent year, it acquired prestigious Chandler Entire Foods. The year, it announced the absorption of an on-the-internet drugstore. Management teams say they are reconnaissance for some deals. Amazon's growth, as ex-retailer stalwarts love Sears, Toys R Us and Barnes and Precious fight, has painted critics worried on its monopolist force, its tax and labor practices, though its liability for drive-up habitation expenses in its hometown of Seattle. While the company announced recent year it would construct its main college campus in Polar America, regional officials scrambled to win the company's obligation, though as protesters, irate on the perspective of tax incentives departure to one of the planet's largest success companies, installed against Amazon campaigns. Amazon has as well fought behind in cash money, more than rather than duplicating its conducting on advocacy with 2014 to on $13 meter recent year, onto Mr. Trump card as well often bonds Amazon's activities to how of the Washington position, though the paper is in freelance, individual invest by Mr. Bezos, who acquired it in 2013. In a luck cost on $150 BN, the 54-year-old Mr. Bezos has as well florid questions on his comparatively bounded charitable operation. He newly hinted he will growth his giver, in an ad anticipated after the summer. Recent year, time requesting ideas, Mr. Bezos told he anticipated to attitude charity otherwise rather than he does his business community, focus on instant effect, quite rather than the length term. The planet will be wait to see if the new policy yet tool successful.